Designs here, and today I've got a sweet tutorial for you guys. Sorry about the 2-week delay. I had portfolio reviews last week for all of my, good old design school, but I'm back again, so I need to stop saying that, but I'm back anyways. But today, and also on my channel, I kind of want to get a little bit more intense with some of the more advanced tutorials and more of the actual design industry tutorials. They might not be effects all the time, but I do want to start putting some of these out there because I feel like they're very crucial to any type of design period. So this is like the first episode of my ad design, tutorials. For people that don't know, here's an example of what I'm working on right now. This is Steph Curry from Golden State Warriors, of course, basketball players. I do a lot of these poster edits, ad work, and stuff for just random sports players that I enjoy or like to watch. Of course, my Cavs that I'm a huge fan of because that's my team. Yeah, I wanted to kind of show you guys how to make these photo edits and or posters or ad designs that I do a lot for, just for fun for Nike and all that thing, and or Adidas or Under Armour, whatever, but Jordan. I just did one for Supra. Now, for example, this is the Steph Curry one. As you can tell, there's a lot of stuff going on here, different lighting effects for him, just to give him, a little bit more of that interesting look to him, and some effects, of course, around the outside. But I want to show you how you get from here to something like this. So before we even start, I want to acknowledge that do not, and I can't, stress this even more, do not sell these if they're not pictures like that you made. For instance, if this was a photo that you took, you're more than welcome to sell it. But if this is a photo, for instance, this one that is royalty free, that means that you can sell it, but it of course it was made from somebody else. I would still credit somebody for it. And then also, if it's not royalty free and you're just grabbing it from Google or something, I would highly advise that you don't sell anything. Don't use it for commission, period, because you can get into a lot of trouble. You can do it for your own personal use, of course. Don't use the logos unless you're advised from the company, or it's the same thing with everything. Just have to say that just because I can't stress it enough that there's so many people out there that sell other people's work. I don't need to name names. That's not the whole point of it, but there are a lot in this community that do that. So anyways, let's get off that topic, and I want to start off with this design in general. So of course, as you can see, I have this CP3 thing. Of course, Chris Paul. Everybody knows who Chris Paul is if you're a basketball fan. So we're gonna start off with a cool. This is just what I like to use. 1920 by 750 kind of gives it a long landscape-looking effect to it, and that's kind of what we're gonna do, especially with if you want to give an epic feel to Chris Paul. We're gonna just, of course, make sure that you cut him out or whomever you are working with in a separate document and keep that document open just in case you need to grab him again and restart. So I'm going to fill the background with, we'll do this like a dark gray, or you can, hypothetically you can use black. Doesn't really matter. Completely up to you. I'm going to pull this over here actually. It's a little off-centered, but I like that. Now because I have the PSD file saved, that's fine. So this is where we're going to get into some fine detail. Now before anything, these are very subtle effects that can give your ad work, your poster work, anything period to what you're trying to sell to somebody, or in general. These are very subtle things that can really make your design more extravagant, more eye-appealing, more aesthetically pleasing, period. So definitely follow these things, just to get a better design or a successful composition. So the first thing I like to do is I like to black and white the background, and I like to Gaussian blur it. I already have a Gaussian blur effect that I used. If it's already, I mean, it's already kind of Gaussian blurred back here again, but you know, it's up to you. I'm gonna just leave it the way it is, just because it's cool that way. And if you already, make sure you make a new layer instead of just cutting him out. Usually ruins the whole background aspect to it. And we're just going to erase parts of this and then lower the opacity down to about 25, 30, 35, depending upon what you like. And that's going to be the start. Now, of course, these are going to be this is going to be a landscape design, so these are going to be more of the areas around here of what we're going to, design around. So the first thing I like to do to him, and these are, these aren't secrets, these aren't things that are out there that nobody knows about. These are legitimate things that anybody can find. So the first thing I do is I go up to Image, Adjustments, Brightness, and Contrast. I move the contrast up, and you can see if you have your preview selected, that it's going to basically start to darken certain areas. The contrast from light to dark. Brightness, you can move it down. I don't do anything with that, and I just hit OK. And very, 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 very simple thing to do. I am going to Gaussian blur the back. Sorry, guys. I just made that decision. But, yeah, so that's what we're going to do for that. Now, after that, I always make a duplicate because, and rename this, original. So we'll do CP3OG. That's my original layer, and here's my layer that I like to edit. So we'll do edit. Now, the reason I created, an original layer is just in case I do screw up. I can always revert back to that. So what we're going to do here is, this is a very subtle effect right away. Or actually, before anything, if you guys have this filter, awesome. Topaz Labs, you can go to their site. I'll put a link down there. Awesome plugins. You're going to want to go to Topaz Labs, Topaz Adjust. If you don't have this is completely fine. So just ignore this whole little part right here. This is just to get a really cool look to them. So we're going to do Psychedelic. We're going to go into Details. We're going to pull it down to about 80. There we go. We're going to do Color. We're going to do Saturation up to 80. And we're going to hit OK after that. Now, if you don't know the difference, that's him without it. That's him with it. And what it does is it brings out, almost like the colors and, all of the little imperfections in the skin, and makes it almost look like, you're real and it's right there in your face. And I really like that effect. Really cool. Now, after that, I don't like some of these imperfections, like in his skin right here. So what you can do here is you're going to go into another Topaz. You're going to do Clean. And this is, a kind of a similar oil paint type situation. So I usually do Skin Even, flat style. And I usually make sure that the focus is on the face. And I pull the strength down to about 2. Just because, you can still see the imperfections, but it's not too much. Threshold can stay, and the accent, you're going to want to pull it down to about 1 for the edges. And then your texture, I always have down at 0. And all this really does, guys, I'll show you after, is it just smooths everything. And it really gives a nice smooth feel to it. Just because, this is an ad design. If you do want, the real thing, you can. This is just, a little bit more abbreviated, shall I say. So after that, what we're going to do is we're going to go to, or we're going to duplicate this again, and we're going to do a high pass filter. So we're going to go Other. Oh, I'm so sorry. Filter, Other, High Pass, and you can, depending upon who it is, or the image itself, I usually go between 10 and 20 for the radius. For this one, I'll do 20.4. And what I do is I invert it. I hit Command I, and I hit Vivid Light, And what that does is of course it's gonna make everything like really weird looking. So you're just gonna move that down to about 15%. And what that does is if you can't really see the difference, that's without it, that's with it, and then this is just on the original layer. It smooths the skin on here, and it kind of gives it the more of a original look to it. Really cool. I love it. So we'll just merge it down. And that's where we have the start of our edit. Of course, if you just look at it this way, very simple, very, very fun looking at it so far. And that's where we're going to start. All right. So after that, we're going to duplicate the layer, and this is how you're going to get, of course, on this, you see the speckles around him and the really cool debris look. And this is just the effect. Of course, if you don't know this effect, I'll do it again here, but it's a distortion effect, with different, layer masks. So we're going to go filter liquify. You can move down the brush, and we're just going to make him look crazy. But yeah, you're going to want to pull him out all different ways. Make it white out this way. And we're going to pull this out. And we're going to pull this out. This out. And we're going to pull his face out this way. It's going to be crazy, and he's going to look weird, and you're probably going to laugh a few times like I do just looking at it, because it's like, whoa, you're really distorting them. But that's the key ideal. And then we're going to hit a layer mask, hit Command I or Control I. And basically what you're going to do is, and this is another great advertising point, I have debris brushes that I have made on myself. They are very cheap. You can go buy them. These are the ones I use. And you can use them, and I would recommend them because they are awesome. And basically all you're going to do is make sure you're hovered on your layer mask and click once or twice, and then you can be like once up here, and then you can do right here. Really just kind of depends. Sometimes, I like that effect. I like this a lot. And then I, will make this a lot smaller and go down here. And, kind of just give it an all-round look to that. Maybe a little too much, actually. But that's what we're going to get. Now, that's one effect you can do. Now, for people that want to know, for instance, Steph Curry, he's white, he's basically cropped out to where the only color is his jersey. Very simple. We're just going to undo all this. And we're just going to take a layer mask, or clipping mask, sorry. And all you're going to do, and this is the most simple, unbelievably, people probably overthink this and think it's some sort of color correction. All you're going to do is you're going to pen tool the parts that you want to be white. And you're going to fill the path with white. So I want his head. Yeah, it's a lot of this is playing around with different effects and seeing what works and what doesn't. But this is kind of just a simple look at what I do and the way I look at things. Personally, I like this effect. It goes well with legitimately everything, sports-oriented, music-oriented, period. Just it looks good. It's, it works. And all you're going to do is switch it to hue, merge down. Then you can duplicate that again, and then since you already, liquify, Command I. Make sure, oh yeah, I completely forgot to tell you, you must be on the paintbrush for this. It's not the eraser like the displacement effect. It's an actual, you want to be on the paintbrush for this. And once you have that, you are good to go. Now, another thing we're going to really have to do here is you're going to have to enable some sort of light source. For people that don't have my brushes or something. I don't know the name of them, but I'll show you how to make another light source. Very simple like that. Oh, I'm sorry, this looks horrible. Something to the extent of this. You're going to get that stupid gradient banding, but, what can you do? I know you can add noise to it to get a little, a little displacement to it. I don't know. It's not gonna really affect anything, to be 100% honest with you. Just you're gonna be able to tell real close up. I have other brushes, but you can just use a regular size, huge soft brush. But these brushes, like in my 60K pack that I gave away for free, these are actual lights. So like I like to, ooh. Okay, there we go. And I turn them and make sure that the light source, like this, and pull it down to about 50. Yeah, about 50%. And then if you zoom out, because in retrospect you are going to look at this from a further distance, this is kind of what you're going to end up a little bit with. Very simple, very very fun. Now I don't want to keep giving away other things that you guys can do. Of course, because this is very very experimental. This is kind of the basis of ad design, shall I say. Of course, I'm going to start this off with a little bit of a red at the bottom. I'm going to make this pure black as well because I thought that this off gray would be kind of cool, but I take that back. And it looks very cool that way. And then you can add a blue filter up top, or brush up top. Look that way. And there's just a lot of things you can do. You can add text here, of course, but the edit itself is completely universal. You can do whatever you want to it. As you guys can see with Steph Curry, I have a lot of stuff going around here, but it's not excuse me, too much. So that's kind of the basics to it. I also will say that another really cool effect that I tend to add to a lot of the designs is I like to add crazy like stuff like this behind it, and low opacity, just because it just gives it more of a look to it. And this is a not too bad of a picture. I wouldn't necessarily choose this for an ad design just because I feel like it's very bland. But there's a lot of other things you can do. Good old halftone brushes. There's so many things you can do with this type of design, and it's endless, and that's why I absolutely love it so much. Is that there's really never been, there's never one thing you can do, and that's it. So yeah, that's basically what we have here. There's a long tutorial, but it's really good, and I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Please check out all the links in the description for this tutorial if you want these things and stuff like that. Of course, thank you all so much for 61,000 subscribers. I can't believe it's been not even a month and I've almost 2,000 more subscribers. It's crazy. But once again, check out all the links in the social, my social stuff, Selfie, Instagram, all that stuff in the description. Thank you so much. I've been rated. Deuces.